the light started to appear. And that's when I realized that this was death. This was my death.
When I died, I was 31. What I experienced from that moment on just changed my life forever. My name is Betty J. Eady. I am 78 years old. I had a near-death experience.
My name is Jessie Sawyer, and I've had a near-death experience.
My name is Jessie Sawyer. And if you had told me a decade ago that I'd be telling a story about dying, I would have laughed. I didn't believe in any of it: God, heaven, the afterlife. Life felt mechanical, and I was caught in its grind. But that changed. I'd been feeling unwell for months, constant pain, unexplained symptoms. I saw every specialist imaginable, ran through tests, but nothing made sense. Eventually, doctors recommended a hysterectomy. They thought that removing my uterus might give them better insight into what was going on. The surgery went well, or so we thought. Biopsies were clear, and 2 nights later, I was sent home. But not long after arriving, pain surged through me like a firestorm. I can only describe it as if someone had removed my insides, shredded them in a blender, lit them on fire, and shoved them back. We rushed to the emergency room. I was admitted immediately. My heart rate soared to 145, my blood pressure dangerously low. The scans showed internal bleeding. I needed surgery, but my body couldn't handle it. Blood transfusions and antibiotics started. And then something strange happened. Crossing over. It was around 2 or 3 in the morning. I hadn't escaped pain since this all started, but that night, something shifted. I stared at the hospital wall, and suddenly, it was like my eyes opened twice. Once to the hospital room, and once beyond. I found myself standing in a place filled with white mist. It wasn't fog, it was more like space. Vast, eternal. The pain was gone. For the first time since the operation, I stood up straight. No aches, no fear. I felt like the absolute best version of myself. That's when I saw him. In the distance stood someone I knew immediately, my best friend Anthony. He had died 2 years before, but there he was, waiting. I felt overwhelmed with love and joy, ready to run and hug him. But something in me paused. This wasn't just a reunion. This was serious. This was death. Behind Anthony, to my right, the light appeared, subtle at first, then overwhelmingly powerful. This was the light. It shimmered like life itself. I realized Anthony was there to walk me home. The light felt like love. It was everything, unconditional, eternal. I felt one with everything in existence. Then came what I now know is called a life review. It wasn't judgmental or shaming. It was deeply personal. I was shown what my life had sent into the world, the energy I had poured out. And the voice, the light itself, whispered to me, I love you. I am part of you. The moment of death. Meanwhile, my body lay quietly in the hospital. After the hysterectomy, I had returned to my room. It was around 9:30 p.m. when I woke up and sensed something strange, no pain, just this draining sensation like every ounce of blood had left me. I tried to reach the nurse's button, but my hand wouldn't move. A numbing sensation began at my feet, creeping upward. Then I felt a pressure in my chest, like something popped. That was when I left my body. My spirit rose out of me with blinding speed. I saw myself lying lifeless on the bed. It was surreal and peaceful. No 2 near-death experiences are exactly alike, but there are undeniable patterns. Consciousness detaches. A tunnel may appear. A realm of light often awaits. Some see family or even pets. And above all, a sense of love beyond human comprehension emerges. I looked down at my body and knew I was dead. I had no idea how it happened, but I was gone. Then 3 ancient men appeared beside me. They didn't feel unfamiliar. They told me I had died too early, and I wasn't meant to stay. Desperate to see my family one last time, I floated out of the hospital room, across the city, into my home. My husband was reading in the living room, unaware. My children slept peacefully. I worried for them. How would they survive without me? But then I was shown their lives, each stage, each milestone. They would be okay. That knowledge brought comfort. And just like that, I was back. The tunnel and the encounter. Suddenly, I was being pulled into a vast tunnel. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen. It vibrated with sound, music, chimes. Peace settled over me. I traveled through darkness, fast, yet serene. At the far end, a shape emerged. It was a figure, glowing, arms outstretched. I moved closer, drawn in. As I neared, I saw who it was, Jesus Christ. He opened his arms and embraced me. My soul overflowed. Then he whispered gently, "It's not your time." I didn't want to leave. The love I felt in that moment was beyond comprehension. And yet, Jesus smiled, nodded toward 3 women standing nearby. "Show her what she needs to know," he said. They led me into a garden. Imagine a place where colors breathe, where flowers hum with life, both familiar and unknown. It was paradise. I was told I wouldn't remember much of what I saw. Then, warriors, angels, glowing with power, arrived. "Are you ready for more?" they asked. "Yes," I replied. We soared through space, planet to planet. I flew, unrestricted, joyful. Time had no meaning. And then I saw him. The Father and the mission. There he stood, the Father. Beautiful, majestic, and unmistakable. I ran to him, collapsed at his feet, my head in his lap. He didn't speak words as we understand them. His voice came as a knowing. He loved me endlessly. "You have a mission," he told me. "I want you to see what it is, and then you must return." I didn't want to leave. The very idea of returning to Earth, to pain, to limitation, broke me. But I knew it wasn't my choice. In a flash, I was descending. I saw my body, frail, cold. I was drawn back, not by will, but by divine command. Returning hurt. Leaving was like floating in warmth. Coming back felt like plunging into ice. My spiritual body had been free, my physical body felt like a cage. Suddenly, my body reacted. I began violently expelling blood. Over 2 liters. Clots the size of fists. Nurses panicked. My family watched in horror. But what shocked everyone, my vitals stabilized. I wasn't dying. I was healing. Impossible science. To this day, no doctor knows what caused my illness. No one can explain how I lived. The bleeding? The sudden recovery? A medical mystery. And I'm not alone. Near-death experiences happen under conditions where consciousness shouldn't exist. Flat brain waves, no heartbeat, deep anesthesia. Yet people describe vivid visuals, emotions, and awareness. Blind individuals report visual experiences. People under general anesthesia, with no measurable brain function, return with detailed accounts of what happened. It shouldn't be possible. When I asked my surgeon about the light I'd seen, he admitted, "I've heard of it, but you're the first to tell me personally." Years later, I confronted another doctor about my death. "I knew," he said quietly. "We were losing you. The science may not understand it. But I lived it. And I believe it was real. Life after death, and life after life. Most who return from near death are transformed. They lose their fear of dying. They become more loving, less materialistic. I began volunteering, especially in cancer wards and with families facing death. I spoke in churches. I shared what I could. I had no doubt, heaven was real. I felt new love for everyone. Not surface-level affection, but deep compassion. I couldn't see strangers anymore. Everyone was someone's child. Everyone mattered. Dying didn't frighten me anymore. In fact, it made life more beautiful. I wanted to return, not to escape, but to reunite. I made Jesus promise I'd one day be taken back to the place where we left off. Until then, I live to serve. The final message. There are no perfect words to describe what I saw, heard, or felt. Only echoes remain. But here is what I know. There is more to life than what we see. Death is not the end, it's the beginning of a deeper, eternal reality. We are deeply loved by a Creator who sees us not for our flaws, but for who we are beneath them. If you've lost someone, know they are not lost. If you fear death, don't. What waits is love. And if you've ever wondered why you're here, the answer is simple: to love, to serve, and to remember who made you. I died. I came back. And I'm telling you, heaven is real. And love is waiting.